cast your mind back to a more innocent time, July 17th, 1998. The Boy Is Mine by Brandy and Monica was at the top of the charts. And one of the most watched films of the year was The Negotiator by F. Gary Gray, a kind of genius of cinema that nobody expected in many ways. And speaking of geniuses, we saw one for the last time on this day, July 17th, 1998. If you tuned into CBS, you saw the final episode of Family Matters. John, did you see it?
I gotta confess, Alex, I did not see it live.
That's probably good. And David, did you see it?
I don't think I saw it live or in syndication.
So I also did not see it live, which in many ways makes this the perfect trio to be talking about it 20 years later.
And who the fuck is that lady?
You can't say that, because you know the answer.
My name is Alex Diamond. I am in Austin. With me from our studios in Hollywood, California, are John McDaniel.
What up?
And David Kenny.
What he said.
Okay. It's, there is something, I think, unique and special about three white guys who did not really watch Family Matters 20 years ago when it was on the air, deciding to do a podcast about it in the year of our Lord 2020, with basically no background or affection for the original material. So, David, did you watch it at all in original or syndication?
Yeah, I watched it a bunch in syndication. That and Full House were kind of my 1-2 punch. So I have a pretty good recollection of random episodes, but definitely not a through line or this ending at all.
Yeah. So you like have specific ones that you think, like, as soon as we start watching it, you're gonna be like, oh, I know what happens in this.
Yeah, there's specifically two really out there characters that I just can't wait for you to see.
I'm excited. John, what is your background with Family Matters?
Yeah, like David, I didn't catch, I don't think, any of it when it was in its first run on ABC and then CBS for the final season. I think it's partly just the nature of just our house. We didn't watch a lot of just scripted TV in general. I don't think in my house at this point in my life. We're talking, from what I can remember, ages of 5 to 10. But Family Matters was definitely, I think, one of the three shows. At least when it was on the air, I was aware of it. There were really only three shows that I could say that about, even if I weren't watching them at the time. So it'd be Family Matters, Seinfeld, and Perfect
America's Most
Strangers.
Wanted. Oh,
Yes.
sorry. you had to make sure that they weren't coming for you this week.
That's right. Yeah, I was getting into trouble there in the early days on my Razor scooter and whatnot. Those were the good old days. Right around your Razor scooter, download something, come back, and it was still not done. So you'd get back on your Razor scooter,
and it was a single JPEG of a Dragon Ball Z image from a season that wasn't in America yet.
But yeah, like David, I caught Family Matters a ton in syndication, and it's definitely one that I watched a lot with friends. Like, it was always, I feel like it was something I did together with people. So I don't know, like, it was always kind of an event to get together with people and watch Family Matters. But yeah, I didn't catch any of it when it was in its first run.
That's gotta, having friends to enjoy it with has gotta lessen the blow a little bit of what you're experiencing.
I just watched it with the TV show Friends. That's all I did.
Oh, sure. Just a dual screen.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had two TVs in one room.
Right.
One of them was on Friends.
Both of them, technically flat screen, but a tube TV, so it just has like 3 feet behind it.
Boy, what a fun paper that would be, a thesis, huh? Just juxtaposition of Friends and Family Matters.
That's too much to watch of both of those shows for my taste, but I'll leave that to the academics to jump on that. But John, my joke answer, I think, stepped on your real answer, which is that you actually did watch Perfect Strangers.
I did, yeah. Perfect Strangers. If you guys remember VHS tapes, anybody? There was that magical, era where you could just record anything you wanted on a VHS tape, and it was a DVR basically, is what it was. But yeah, my aunt was a huge fan of Perfect Strangers, and so I don't remember exactly when in my childhood, but she brought over a box of just VHS tapes of Perfect Strangers, and my sister and I just blazed through those. So yeah, I was that was one of the three shows I was familiar with when I was this young.
Was there ever any instances of you starting one and it's a home video and then it just switches to what she preferred to record, which is Perfect Strangers?
No, I was quite a pro even at a young age, I have to say. Bought fresh VHS tapes for the home movies. So yeah, no, I never recorded over anything, and I do not appreciate that accusation.
Man, that would make such a classic sitcom episode. I'm sure that's never happened before.
No, never.
Shall we make watch for the VHS record over episode a bounty for this show that we're about to watch?
Just little nuggets.
I say yes.
Yeah. Maybe we should legit do a technology report of
sure.
Breaking what is the cool new thing, is there an episode where the sun gets a beeper or whatever?
Oh snap.
Yeah,
I never rocked never I don't think anybody in my family ever rocked a beeper.
I had a Palm Pilot.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Wow. I had a Palm Pilot for a week. I was like, Dad, I really need this Palm Pilot because I'm in the 9th grade.
I was always the very last, and still am the very last to have whatever the new technology is. My boss constantly is asking me what new video games have you played, and I was like, Darksiders 2 and Darksiders 4 is out right now, so I'm not super current, which kind of helps explain why I don't really watch all that much TV now either. I'm just behind the trends. I don't know what's cool. I never was, and I never will try to be. So that's the lesson we should all take away from our inspiration, Steve Urkel.
You're gonna learn a lot.
I have a feeling that
keep tuning in.
He's going to have a very special place in my psyche at the end of 200 plus episodes of Family Matters, accidentally starring Steve Urkel. Now,
wait, Alex, did you watch it in syndication or anything?
No, I've seen a couple random episodes, and I don't honestly even remember what happened in them. There may come the clouds may part as I'm watching an episode at some point in this project, and I'll be like, oh shit, I have seen this before. But that was just not ever really in my rotation, and I don't know why. It's not a channel thing, or maybe as a time slot thing, but again, syndication and other things, you would think that I would have run across it. I did put together a list here that I want to go through quickly of some other shows from the time period, many of which are entirely bookended by Family Matters. So Family Guy. This is not the last time. This is not the last time this happens.
I knew it was coming.
Family Matters ran from September 22nd, 1989 on ABC to July 17th, 1998 on CBS, and many of these other sitcoms of the 90s featured black families, and or at least the main few characters were black, And I wanted to run through this list really quickly and shout out when you have some experience with one of these. The Parenthood, which was on the WB 95 to 99, starred Meteor Man, if that means anything to anybody.
Nope.
You didn't see the Meteor Man?
Oh
in
no.
The 90s? Oh,
I don't know what that is.
It's a guy who lives in like
I'm just familiar with Mega Man.
it's
it?
basically the same in that it's a normal black guy living in the city and he gets hit by a meteor. And then it gives him superpowers, and then he uses it to like start a local garden and fight gangs.
He liked to
shit.
do.
This is a real thing. I mean, no,
So we
it's
shouldn't
not
be
real
dreading
events.
asteroids. We should be welcoming asteroids. It sounds like it's a not a negative, it's a positive.
This is a pro asteroid podcast.
I do believe that bad guys got a hold of the meteor and also used it to like juice themselves up and then get into a fight with him. I don't remember for sure. I do think that Bill Cosby was the hobo who rescued him in the end, so that's fun. But moving on to actual fun stuff. Hanging with Mr. Cooper on ABC, 92 to 97. Basketball player is a teacher. Sister, ABC in the WB from 94 to 99.
Yeah. In syndication, I caught a lot of that one for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is one of those where, because of like, I mean, this happens in all the sitcoms in syndication because they don't show them in any kind of order, it seems like. So then like, but particularly where all of the main characters are like high school-ish age, it really throws you off when you're like watching Sister, Boy Meets World, and it's just like jumping between college and high school, and like what are the relationships, and they still have to say "Go home, Roger" every episode, but other than that, who knows?
That was a fun game trying to like piece together where you were in the show and try and circle back to the front.
Yeah, especially because there's no like Hulu where you can go and watch everything in sequential order.
Absolutely.
You have to catch it like on accident kind of to make it make sense.
Yeah, you had to like talk to a friend, about if they had seen it. You couldn't just go and look up the synopses.
Well, and one of the things
you had to call somebody,
One of the things that I think we'll keep returning to as we do this like watch through is that like the sitcom as it's designed is meant to be, you can sit down, watch any episode and have no context and immediately know who are these people, what are their relationships to each other, what do they do, what about them would make the situations that they're getting into funny. So immediately, like, you're going to call Urkel a nerd in the first, 30 seconds of the show because somehow his Coke bottle glasses don't clue you in immediately.
And you don't have to track giant season-long arcs at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Or in shows like, the first one that springs to mind is like X-Files, where you have stuff simmering in the background and you're building a really long, large story over time, but each episode you got to solve a mystery in that episode because that's the only time you have to convince somebody to watch.
The truth is out there.
Okay.
That's what I hear.
That's the name of the second X-Files movie with Exhibit? Am I remembering this correctly?
Oh man. I don't think I saw any of them but the first one. So
for sure, the second X-Files movie has Exhibit playing an FBI agent. That's not a question.
There's still time to do this, but X-Files. We can still change it.
God. You got to give them credit for they just keep trying, with the X-Files movies. I feel like every 4 or 5 years, they're like, let's give it another go.
Yeah. And I'm sure they will again now that they're return to the series with the original cast was a super duper failure at Fox. I did
have fun seeing you though go on
I was just gonna
networks
say.
and totally school everyone.
I was paid in merchandise to go on. This was during my radio days. We had a partnership with the local news station. It was the Fox affiliate. and they asked me to come on their like morning news show and deliver the hard-hitting reporting that they're known for, which is, hey, are you excited about the new X-Files season?
And I said yes.
And I said, I definitely am, and I just kept talking about Exhibit the whole time, and they did not care for it.
And Exhibit's legendary, man. He's fire.
You heard it here first. On the WB from 97 to 98. This is the worst time to take a break because these are like the closest related. But Smart Guy, another Maori joint, which I watched a lot of Smart Guy. That was probably the one that I liked the most.
Theme song's in my head right now.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's a great theme song. And
it's catchy as fuck, man.
It's great. And I actually remember this next one having a good theme song, and I don't remember it at all now. Also on the WB, the Wayans Brothers from 95 to 99, featuring some middling Wayans talent on that one.
Is that the We're Brothers?
Oh, yes, it is! Yes, I think you're right. Yeah, that is a great one. One for the ages. And speaking of theme songs, this one performed by the gangster of paradise himself, Coolio, Keenan and Kel on Nickelodeon was a black-led
Let's give it
sitcom.
up for Keenan and Kel, y'all.
Let's take a
round
moment.
of applause.
Keenan and Kel was recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Man,
and
that one is also
so good.
That one is going to feature something that I think they perfected, the use of the catchphrase that was pioneered by Family Matters.
Couple good ones in Keenan and Kel.
Yeah. Also on Nickelodeon, I watched this one a lot. I don't think other people did. I don't think other people remember it. But from 1998 to 2001 on Nickelodeon, Cousin Skeeter was a black-led sitcom.
You take that back. I watched a lot of that show.
I don't think that's a real show.
Cousin Skeeter is about a guy who's in school, I think like late middle school, early high school, and his cousin comes to live with them, and his cousin is a puppet. And Skeeter is 100% a puppet man, but is also his biological blood cousin. And at no point does anyone that I can think of reference, like, Skeeter is not a man.
Oh no!
I think.
Yeah, I never like find myself questioning the logic of it though when I'm watching it. Am
I remembering correctly that there's like a bit about like Skeeter doesn't like to be called short though?
I think so. Yeah.
I think that's a real thing. Like a through line of the thing is that he is 2.5 feet tall, but anytime anyone calls him short, he just goes absolutely berserk, and they like throw the puppet at somebody.
He's got a real Napoleon complex.
It just
so did they address the guy with his hand up the puppet?
No, I don't believe you ever spoke to or about that man.
So he's just chilling behind the couch. And
I'm trying to think of like
totally
what the inspiration was for Cousin Skeeter.
It's got to be.
was
Alf,
like
right?
I mean, maybe, but this was so long after Alf. This started in 1998.
I mean, was it like maybe? I mean, when was like Crank Yankers on? You know, the original.
Oh, sure.
That's not crazy. Maybe. Yeah, that's not.
I don't know,
crazy.
just like the puppet comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, there was that Greg the Bunny.
Because I mean, even for a Nick show, that I feel like Cousin Skeeter had some like spice to it. You know.
He was a little bit. Yeah, he was a rude boy.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he had some sarcasm going.
But so here are some other black-led sitcoms from the 90s that I did not really watch, and I have seen some episodes, I think, of most of these, but couldn't really tell you. I definitely didn't watch them at the time, and this may be surprising with the first off, running from 1990 to 1996 on NBC, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's quintessential, man.
I know, and that's the thing is that, like, I can absolutely, like, I can solidly nail the first third of the theme song right now, of the extended version, but I did not watch it when it was on, and I've seen, like, a handful of episodes since then, But
mean, even in GIF form, it's legendary. You know.
sure.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that even when I see the GIFs, I remember the specific episode that it's from, and it just hits even harder.
I understand this is a very popular show that I just missed out on personally.
But you're watching
We really need
Puppet
to
Skeeter
we really
instead.
need to hammer that home. That's the message. Is you didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it, and I'm a piece of shit because of that. This one I don't think anyone watched because it was canceled after one season, which is In the House, which was LL Cool J show, which I remember mostly for his one pant leg being rolled up. Which is a statement.
Man, I hear like hip hop artists talk all the time about LL Cool J, how much they influenced him. I don't know. Part of me is like, I wish I was alive to see that side of his career, you know, because for me growing up, I just remember him as being on NCIS LA. So
Oh no, it's all Deep Blue Sea. That's all you need.
Yeah, he doesn't. Ladies love him, and so do sharks. As it
His
turns
hat
out.
is like a shark's fin.
Is it really?
Did you not he did like the credit song for the movie?
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Is it one of the credit songs that explains the whole movie in the song? Because those are
Yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah, about having cold, dead eyes like a shark, and deepest, bluest, my hat is like a shark's fin.
Wow. All right.
throwing it down.
That was and without In the House, maybe we never would have gotten Deep Blue Sea. So, thank you so much. This one, though, I think everyone knows at least a little bit. Martin, 92 to 97, and on Fox. I know that he was a radio personality, and I don't really know much more, other than obviously like it stars Martin Lawrence. I know John Grise, who's Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. He was the like engineer in the show, the radio engineer. And I only know that because I met John Grise, and I'm sure he got tired of talking about Napoleon Dynamite and was like, I was on Martin. And I was like,
man.
oh, really?
Please talk to me about something else.
And Living Single, Queen Latifah show, also on Fox, 93, 98. The Jamie Foxx show, not on Fox, on the WB. Huge missed opportunity, Fox. Branding was all over that, and you messed it up. Moesha on UPN, 96 to 01. Steve Harvey show. This is specifically the Steve Harvey sitcom family show, not any of the other like 17 things that have been called the Steve Harvey show since then in radio and TV. But okay,
Man,
so
what happened to Fox, man? They really had it cooking there, and then we get Jack Bauer for.
Yeah, so this is an interesting thing, is that like how TV has transformed between then and now. And I looked up a couple things, and I have a list here, and I would be interested to see if you guys can like think of any off the top of your heads, but like, can you talk about current black-led sitcoms that are on the air right now? Can you think of him?
I mean, Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
But
interesting because what do we?
Are they doing
it's like
new episodes of that still?
they are. Yeah, there is gonna be another season.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be longer as well.
I think that probably counts. Okay, so Atlanta, that's a good one. That's on.
But it is interesting. Like, what do we define as a sitcom? You know, because
Right.
I think the landscape has definitely changed, and we're just seeing fewer traditional like multicam or single cam sitcoms in general. But
No, I don't think we have to stick that closely to it. Like, if any of the people on Always Sunny were of color, then we could list that on this list, but that's not the case. So, I think we can broaden our definitions here a little bit. So, Atlanta, what else?
Blackish and the spin-offs.
Yes, see, this is the thing, is that like I as I said earlier, this is not like I don't watch television anymore, but I just don't watch that much TV. When I do, it's
TV
like
is where
binging
it's
old
at.
super weird stuff that nobody can find. And so, but I have heard nothing but good things about Blackish. I've heard it's very funny, and obviously it is very successful. It has 3 spin-offs, or 2 direct spin-offs, Mixed-ish and Grownish, on ABC and Freeform, respectively. And hashtag Black AF, which is on Netflix, which is a like fake reality show behind the scenes of making Blackish, which is a fucking weird idea for a show. But again, I've heard good things, so I don't know.
I would say 20s on BET. Like it just got going.
Okay.
It just got going this season. That's one I'll throw out there. Insecure, if we want to go there. I mean, it's
Yes.
Oh,
I think we should.
I love Insecure. I don't know where it fits in terms of like sitcom, but it's absolutely a comedy or
it's a comedy.
maybe a dramedy. But one of the best shows on TV.
Yeah. And I can think of lots of other shows that have like main black characters, or like a black family is important to the show, but they're not comedies. So I can think of like all of the make me cry shows that my wife watches. So your This Is Us, your Thousand Little Pieces, whatever the fuck that is, Office Space jumps off a building show. And
I was just thinking about Ron Livingston and how he never got enough work. So, way to go.
I will say, as with Milo Ventimiglia on This Is Us, them dead boys in a lot of episodes. So they're getting paid still.
Well, he's got a mustache, so.
It is different. Yeah, he's a different one.
Sterling K. Brown's scenes in This Is Us, and Get Me in the Fields, I think more than any other scenes in that show. I feel like he just brings it so hard.
He's absolutely like, I mean, he's a
Emmy
top
nominated
tier
this
actor,
year as well.
Period. Yeah. A great actor. Period. But in particular, I think the snippets of that show that I've seen while my wife allows me to interrupt her zen heart-wrenching time, he's exceptional.
Oof. I mean,
I get sent out of the room pretty quick because I make fun of all of the shows that my wife watches in the background.
Yeah, you're a good friend.
I'm a good friend to my wife.
Yeah. But so looking it up, other than Blackish, which hugely successful, 3 spin-offs, you have Bob Hart's Abishola, which is on CBS, which is a Chuck Lorre show where Mike from Mike and Molly falls in love with his nurse, and The Last OG on TBS, which is a Jordan Peele created show for Tracy Morgan, which again, I have heard nothing but good things about that. I've heard nothing about Bob Hart's Abishola, so I can't speak to that. Based on the Chuck Lorre factor, I'm thinking bad, but Ninja Turtles was good at least. NBC currently on their lineup, no black-led sitcoms. The CW, which is the combination of UPN and the WB, which like featured like a vast majority of the shows that we talked about from the 90s. The CW currently has none. They have Black Lightning, but that's not a sitcom. That's a black family who has superpowers. That's just like continuing to build on the superhero empire that they've got over there. And then like the new Batwoman is going to be black. But that's again not a sitcom. The only one that I could see that qualifies on Netflix, Spike Lee's She's Gotta Have It TV show that he adapted from like his movie of the kind of time period that we're talking about of Family Matters starting. And I think that's so fucking weird that like more networks are not immediately jumping on this hole that like Blackish can only fill so much and is doing so well that it spawned 3 spin-offs. Like that seems like such a clear signal to bring this back.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it definitely changes. I think, with production having been down for quite a while this summer because of this little pandemic that we have going on here.
Oh, is it? What's going on with that?
What'd you say, David? It's not real?
That's not real.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what to do. That's another podcast. I don't know what to do with that.
If I just realized that no one knows who I am. Yes, that is real.
But yeah, I mean, I hope that between production halting because of the pandemic and the incredible, amazing protests that are happening, in the wake of the murder of George Floyd, of Breonna Taylor, I hope that networks are taking a serious look at their content moving forward, and that they do change that. So.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see kind of what the roadmap looks like over the next, several, I don't know, maybe 2-3 years as production gets going again.
And I would think that studios would capitalize on like, oh, more white people are like actively trying to engage with black culture. And so we'll put it on the air for that reason. We'll get a larger audience for that reason. But also, like, even cynically, you have to think that, like, oh, some white people will talk about this show and say it's awesome to sound like they know about black culture, or to like ingratiate themselves as social justice warriors or whatever. It just seems so mind-boggling that this isn't everywhere. And like, Jordan Peele will continue to get deals no matter where he goes, everywhere, and he'll continue to make probably pretty good stuff, but it's not all on him. There's so many people out there.
For sure.
So what you're saying is we need a new Urkel.
I don't know. I think that my thesis that I will prove with the next 200 plus episodes of this podcast and this TV show is that we didn't need the first Urkel.
There's a lot to definitely unpack with Urkel, with I don't know, it's with the sitcom in general, the time period it was made, looking at it versus the content now.
Yeah. Well, and I think that if I can make some predictions based on what little I do know about it, and we can shift over to predictions, I think, generally now. Predictions. If I'm remembering correctly, the dad is a cop, because that's all that he ever plays in anything.
Yeah, it's wild. I wrote a list.
I was gonna say that's all you were allowed to. That's all that there were only a few professions you were allowed to play on TV in general.
That's sort of true. Like, you have to, again, it has to be like so immediately identifiable to the audience that it has to be like, you can't be like an agricultural soil tester. Like, it has to be something that's so like a broad category that people can jump onto.
A marine biologist.
Hit us with the Vel Johnson list.
So he rose on my radar in Ghostbusters 1984. He played a jail guard.
Yeah.
In that movie when they get arrested. I stopped writing after 10 years because it's so many. So he did a TV movie called Kojak the Belarus File. He was a policeman.
Okay. Yeah.
He was an ambulance driver in a movie called Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins.
Oh, it's supposed to be really terrible, I think.
Oh, I have never heard of it. It should be great. He played Captain Graff in a movie called Plain Clothes. And then in 88, he was Sergeant Al Powell in Die Hard, which I'm sure, like...
Yeah, I've heard of that, yeah.
I actually just watched Die Hard for the first time this year.
Did you really?
True?
That's very true.
Whoa! Yeah. Did you...
Yeah. So I was more familiar with Family Matters than I was with Die Hard. So it was reversed for me. It was reversed for me when I watched Die Hard. I was like, oh, shoot. That's the lead in Family Matters.
His wife is pregnant in Die Hard, right? So that could, in some twisted universe, if it took place many years before when the movie came out, be the lead in to Family Matters.
Yeah, but then a spoiler alert. It's really hard to do this because they're all technically reverse spoilers.
I know.
So if you're selling a show, you are delivering a premise and you want people to know about it. You don't want them to know the ending.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was a spoiler alert. He was in an episode of Perfect Strangers in 89, at the beginning of 89. Yeah. And then,
why didn't you should have warned us.
I
At
know.
the time, that was a
Now,
spoiler, man.
is he? This is maybe an insane question for me to ask, but is he his same character?
Do you actually want to know?
No, I'll
no,
wait.
you don't want to know. He was a judge in a TV movie called Jury Duty, the comedy. He
Oh
was
boy.
Die Hard 2,
Wow,
TV movie.
You were not kidding.
We're only up to 1994. He was Detective Bob Himes in a TV movie called One of Her Own. Then, literally, for the rest of his career, he was always like in a position of authority. He was like a doctor or a reverend or like another sergeant or something. It's wild.
So and this may not be something that you even looked up, and I definitely didn't, but does he have like a history in law enforcement in any capacity? Because that happens to like some people. Like you'll see a lot of like guys come out of the military and go into acting and then like play soldiers and drill sergeants forever.
Right. I mean, at this point, he's probably could be like a real police officer.
I'd take him over a lot of the ones that I've had interactions with.
Preach.
So what other predictions, boys?
Predictions!
What other things? And again, this is not things that we're going to be encountering, because that's not fun. But this is stuff that you can think is likely to happen because of the nature of the show, relationships and job changes, and who's gonna flunk out of school and all that stuff.
This is hard. I feel like I watched the last episode, so I know. I feel like that set up a lot of like
It tells
the
you a
end
lot.
game.
Yeah.
I mean, let me put it this way: there are a couple characters that were not in the ending that I remember from the show.
Okay.
So
See, you're thinking some hasty exits here and there.
yeah.
Okay. I really don't have any expectations other than I think I figured out something about one of the characters, like how they were introduced to the show by accident when I was just like looking up a cast list to prepare for this.
Yeah.
And seeing like some names that didn't quite match up and stuff, and so I have some suspicions about when and where a new cast member will be introduced to the household. I don't. Oh God. Because it spans so long. Like this is like a 10-year show almost. So like we're gonna see so much of like high school for the kids and like spoilers, police academy maybe for the like older son who ends up going into the police force, and that's I don't want a lot of hijinks to ensue in Police Academy, and I'm very worried that that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Overall, I would say probably my biggest prediction is that this show's interaction with law enforcement and the view it takes of it will not have aged particularly well, especially given
I think that's
the
safe to
climate
say.
of summer 2020.
I think that's very safe to say.
Yeah. John, do you have any predictions? Things you're looking forward to? Things you want to happen?
Well, how much into the content of the last episode are we getting right now?
Not too much, but you can allude to things.
I'd say just because I feel like his character's arc in the episode was the only one that was more grounded in probably what the
Literally
rest
grounded
of the
as
show
opposed
was
to
about.
some of the other characters.
Heyo, literally, yes, as well, literally and figuratively. I'm wondering what Eddie's kind of path to becoming a police officer is.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe there's some ebbs and flows with it. Maybe he starts out a little more resistant to it, or doesn't see why his father is a cop.
Yeah, surely there's a
You know.
phase, or they call it a phase because they have one episode about it, and then that like defines his character somehow. But like, surely
Yeah.
he has a like punk kid thing where he like rebels. And do we want to call it right now that Eddie goes to jail at some point?
Oh,
Oof. That's a good question. I don't
Or
know.
that any of the people in the do we think Urkel goes to jail and
I mean,
Reginald has to
it would be
bail him out?
it would be good, conflict.
yeah. I feel like
definitely.
you're giving this show too much credit already.
Yeah, that's very possible.
But yeah, I feel like at some point we're gonna see Eddie, I don't know, witness a moment
Yeah.
of bravery from Carl, from his dad. That's going to put him on the path to becoming a police officer himself.
Interesting. Okay, so he's
But,
gonna do it to be like the old man.
Yeah. But other than that, I really can't make a lot of other, just based off of what the last episode was, which we'll talk about. I don't really know.
No,
I
nor
really
should
don't
you.
know much else.
Nor should you.
I will. Well, here's one. Maybe it's not all going to be in space.
Okay, so your prediction is we at least have one season at some point where no one is in space.
Yes. Yeah.
That's-
I'll go.
That's a
I'll
bold
go,
prediction.
Predictions.
I'll go out on a limb here, and yeah.
Is this a good point? Is this a good place to talk about how fucking off the rails this show gets?
Yeah, let's talk about that because it's so off the rails. It's no longer on the ground. It is in space. The show becomes the central struggle of an episode is a character is lost in space and needs to get back to Earth. And this is a show that starts as pretty much every other like American sitcom of the 80s and 90s starts, which is just like a family in a city sitting on a couch and watching TV.
Man, it's so fucking wild.
Yeah. And so, okay, like, I again, I don't want to like dig too far into it, but I want
Yeah.
to know like how much of this is a natural progression for Urkel's character of like, okay, his like stuff that these like weird inventions that he's doing become more and more outlandish, but like somehow also work, or like is this like the first thing that's ever worked, or like I mean, it's such a weird thing, and it does like it lives in this weird like nebulous cartoony place that like honestly Power Rangers jumps out to me because like Billy the Blue Ranger is always inventing something insane every episode, and it's like, oh, this is a fashion machine, and this is a brain transfer machine, and it like legit works as a brain transfer machine even though he made it out of bullshit in his garage. And I don't know if like the artificial gravity thing that Urkel creates is the first like foray into making something totally insane, or if like day one he shows up and it's a popcorn maker, but instead of popping popcorn it makes sprinkles explode and then it like floods the bedroom, and hijinks ensue from there.
Yeah. Where can I buy one of those?
www.family.matters.gov.
.gov. All right.
Is there anything else about the progression that you wanted to say? Like,
Yeah, so I'm really interested in like the arc of. Again, I don't want to get too much into the last episode, but who would you say is the main character of this show?
right. It seems like Urkel.
Was it always Urkel? Was it? And like
one of the few things that I like know about the show is that it was not intended to be at the beginning.
Right.
But I think for the vast majority of it, it is that and became that quickly.
So as he becomes more of a central character, does the show get more off the rails? And I just want to see I want to see how long it takes before we get to like normal shit happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think honestly, I think like it's going to be like season 2. Like the end of season 2 is going to be something normal and just like, oh shit, Eddie was late to the prom and now his date is mad at him or whatever, right? John and David, I have we are men of bits, and we like to show our bits to the world, and I think that it's important that we include as many bits into each episode of this podcast.
This is just an audio podcast, so they can't see our bits, right?
Well, it's, you know,
As
if you
opposed to
get popular enough, you can vodcast for the Apple iVod. People, you know, that's fucking wild that like nobody remembers that the word podcast comes from
iPod.
Like, it's a broadcast for your iPod.
Yeah.
But like
I still
now
use an
nobody knows
iPod.
what the fuck an iPod is.
I'm kidding. I don't still use an iPod.
I see.
I don't want to date myself that much. I'm
Okay,
not
good.
that old.
Bits. I wanted
Am I?
to have a recurring one that's actually useful to us, which will be the question corner,
I have a question.
which is us just like asking questions about the show, and like it can be as basic as like,
I have a question.
where is this show taking place? Because we're not gonna know necessarily. Even if they give like some exterior shots, that's not always like as distinct as like a Full House style, like here's every major landmark in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like that's probably not gonna happen. So
Can I?
you know,
I think I
things
know
like
the
that.
answer. Like what city it takes place in?
Yeah, if you know the answer
I
to
know
any
the
of these
answer
things,
to it.
It's not fun to say the answer. If you actually know the answer, it's only fun like if the show reveals it. Like, because I think we all bring some extra textual knowledge to these episodes. Like, we know some things about like
Do
Steve
we?
and some shenanigans that he gets up to, and and
Question corner.
I have a question.
Who's Steve?
see, this is a great question that we need to answer.
I'm on a first name basis.
So is it like that? You just say question corner
I have a question.
anytime, or we have like just a devoted?
Let's
you know,
try
we're gonna go to
to
question corner.
I have a question.
Brought to you by Circuit City.
That's right. We are gonna, yeah, it is all gonna be 90s product placement. It has to have been a business that was active during the years
We could get
of
away with that, right?
1989 to
Use a
1998.
business
it is.
that's out of business.
They all have to be canceled as well.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, so just any questions that come up, I think we need to do it will need a better name than this, but the love connection. So we need to talk about like relationships, like, okay, these two people are together at this point. When do they get together? How do they get together? Are there other people who are like vying for
There
affection?
sure is. And
No,
who
but
the
you
fuck
can't
is
say-
that lady?
You can't say that. Because you know the answer.
And
But this
like,
this can also work for. I was working out the family connections. Like, what is their
absolutely.
relationship? Not even like romantically.
yeah, and then we are going to need the vintage Urkel fashion report every episode. We're gonna have to dedicate one person to this, and we're just gonna like fling it to John and be like, John, what was Urkel wearing this episode? And you break it down for us, whether he had the rainbow suspenders on or not, all the goods. It doesn't have to be you, John, but I am giving it to you right now.
How in depth do we want to go with that? We want like a lot of context around that. Like, was it in
Specific-
fashion at the time, or if
Yeah.
it was a kind of a play on something that was in fashion? All those
Yeah,
sorts of
at
things.
some point you're gonna have to give me the entire history of the company Fubu. It's gonna happen,
Great.
and you're gonna need
Fantastic.
to do that research.
Awesome. Well, I did not wear a lot of FUBU, so that'll be good. I wore a lot of Echo and Sean John though. I will say that.
I think other people will creep into it. I specifically want to feature Urkel just because his shit is so out there every time. But if I were to guess, I would say they significantly tone it down from like real young kid Urkel with the like rolled up to his knees almost pants. But we'll see.
Question corner, was that his voice, you think, earlier, like in earlier seasons as well, or was it a struggle, you think, you know? I don't know.
I want to make some predictions here in a minute, but I'll jump ahead a tiny bit to say predictions. Whenever we stop doing this podcast, whether it's the end of
next week
/ the beginning, whether it's like 3 weeks from now or whether it is we actually make it all the way back to the beginning of Family Matters.
Wow.
I think that all three of us will have an Urkel impression, and I think none of us will have a good Urkel impression.
I'm not gonna break that out. I'm just gonna go ahead and
after 200 plus episodes, I think it's gonna seep into your brain a little bit.
Boy, this would be a good time. You know, if this would be a good check. If I'm still living in this apartment, in this studio apartment, and, you know, we're doing this every week, and we make it all the way back to episode 1. I've got some reevaluating to do.
Well, the good thing is we'll just transfer to Perfect Strangers, and you will get a roommate, and that's how we will continue that.
Oh, I feel like his voice is going to become like the voice I hear in my head. It'll just like be my subconscious is Urkel.
Yeah, it's the like you're cramming for your high school language credit like final exam, and you're like dreaming in Spanish or French or Latin or whatever it is.
Yep.
John, show me your bits.
The only one I could really think of was like, you know, is this going to be a catchphrase?
Yeah, you know, that's a good one. Moving
forward. That was the only one that stood out to me watching this episode. I mean, there were some moments in the episode where I was like, oh, this really captures the essence of this episode and what it's all about. But I don't know if that's really a fun bit necessarily. It might just be fun because of this episode specifically.
Yeah. You bringing that up, and something that we're going to talk about in the first episode of the show, we will have to have an irregular, but I'm imagining it will pop up several times, a very special episode moment where we like discuss the morals and values, the matters of this family that have been imparted unto us.
Family matters.
It matters to me.
I don't know, just setting up each episode with the air date, kind of what was happening around the time, just some historical context.
One of your bits is just having a good podcast. Is that what you're saying? You're just giving us. We need to have a framework.
It'll be hilarious if it's good.
All, this is all obvious stuff here, but. Or I don't know if we want to have any, since it's all 90s, if we want to occasionally just sprinkle in some 90s nostalgia in there, just from our own experiences. But I don't know if that might be getting too much away from what this is for. So
no, if we will have to at some point cross the Space Jam line and talk about the Space Jam website that is still up and unchanged from 1996, 7. Not up on my MJ lore. Haven't watched the new Netflix series yet, so because I already know he's an asshole. David, your bits that you wanted to share with everybody.
My audio cut out for the last 20 seconds, but it sounds good.
Everybody clear out.
John's rage of me talking shit about any sports figure.
I'm gonna mute that shit.
Overwhelmed.
But yeah, Last Dance, airing currently on Netflix. Highly recommend it. First aired on ESPN, over on Netflix now. Check it out.
Okay, how many bags of popcorn there, John?
Oh, I don't think MJ would approve of eating popcorn.
Seems messy
to be in peak physical condition to play the basketball. So I'm gonna say no bags of popcorn.
Wow, a bold move.
It was good. It was really good.
I've got bits.
What is
Yes?
this? I don't get what this joke is. I don't understand.
One of my bits, I also had the idea, just in watching the final episode, there are some moments where, is that a catchphrase? So I have a pitch for the name of the segment. And
Okay.
you may get this, you may not, but eventually you will get this joke. The segment can be called, Did I Do That Catchphrase?
Is that giving away too much? I mean, I don't know. I feel like everybody knows that Urkel
I did.
says that.
I do know that
Everybody
one.
knows that. You
The other
it's-
one-
It's like Balky and his, everybody knows that Balky's got that one catchphrase.
I don't know who Balky is.
Oh,
This is going
His
to be a great
catchphr-
podcast.
Yeah.
The other one I have is more of a spoiler, and we can just leave it out there if we want to just touch on it in the first actual episode. But
I don't know.
okay, well, never mind then. In reference to another fucking crazy sitcom from this era, my next pitch is Not the Mama.
Oh, I know a little bit about this. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll just leave that there, and we can pull that thread
We can
when we're ready
discuss-
for it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I think maybe I know where that's going, but
You will.
I'm not 100% sure. I did a little bit of research.
Oh,
It's
you'll know.
the Family Matters Dinosaurs crossover.
Yeah, they've got enough crossovers with other shows already. They don't need another one.
Also, was there a crossover? Are you being real right now?
We'll get there. Who knows?
I don't remember that.
Apparently, I have heard a rumor. Speaking of, this is not about Family Matters, but I have heard a
Oh, well,
rumor
then we can't talk about it.
that dinosaurs will be coming to Disney Plus in
Ah.
the relative soon future.
Oh, you mean like the original episodes, the OG?
the actual?
No, like
yeah,
real dinosaurs.
the-
Oh.
yeah.
Why just put them on TV? Why can't we go and see them if they're real dinosaurs?
Corona.
I think it would be. I think it would be funny if we just to give. I'm sure no one is going to watch this backwards with us because Hulu already makes it hard as fuck. They do not want you to do this. I had to restart the menu 3 times. But I think it would be funny if we just like a recap sort of thing, or I read the IMDb synopsis cold, and even that is fucking wild.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, this might be that. I don't know. Yeah, there's something to play with there, and like, I don't know if it's getting into too much of like, how did this get made, that type of stuff. But yeah, I don't know, like just a cold reading of the synopsis after we've talked about it, or reviews, from publications at the time, if we want to get into any of that, or if that's kind of a retread of what other people have been doing.
Everything that we're doing is
Is a
ripping off
retreat?
somebody else.
I
so
guess.
we should just lean into it.
I don't know. I think it's all completely original. It's all
Okay.
new. Nothing
Well.
is the same under the sun, as they say.
Don't tell him.
We're not getting paid yet. You don't have to like really act it up here to sell this
Oh, yeah,
concept.
Last Dance, airing currently on Netflix.
I really am just here to plug the Michael Jordan documentary.
All right, now that we've got our bits all stored away, and those are all official titles, we're locked in on all of those 100%, and nothing will change about any of those. Let's talk about what the actual name of the show is, because I have one that I have very strong attachment to, and I will be so heartbroken if you guys don't like it. But I have some other options, and I'm sure that you guys have come up with some on your own as well. And none of this will be a
I have
surprise
not.
to the listener because they have downloaded this episode, so they know what the show is called. But what a fun thing to be on the cutting room floor for all of the things that we threw out and threw away. So, David, do you have one that you think would be a good name for the show?
Man, ones that aren't offensive.
Offensive to whom? If it's like offensive to Italians, who gives a fuck? Like, they can deal with it.
No, just everything. Honestly, like, I just had some of the stupidest, like, the other thing is, like, you want it to be searchable, so
I know.
you don't want to literally spell the title backwards.
I thought about that. I totally did.
I honestly have nothing.
I did. So in like looking up stuff about, is there a Family Matters podcast that exists out there right now? Basically what I came across is I couldn't find anything that is about this show at all. And I'm happy to be corrected if like a Let's Watch Family Matters show exists, but I don't think they're doing it our way. But
There's about to be.
It's really hard to find it because if you just type Family Matters into the podcast apps of the world, you get all of this like Christian shit that's about like how important family is, and like here's some things of like how to improve your relationships without reading 50 Shades of Grey, because you know what that does to your parts that you're not supposed to think about. And so yeah, just having it be like family.matters it's fun, but will be hard for people to find us. I did, speaking of offending the Italians, think about naming the show What's the Matter with You Family? And I think that's a bad idea, so let's not do that, if that's okay with everybody. I did think about just spelling Family Matters backwards. I also thought about, and this is a strong contender, but not what I want. But if we land on this, I will not be heartbroken. But it's Jumping the Shuttle.
Oh, that's really good.
Oh, I see what you did there.
That's really good.
And we can.
I see what you did.
We can repurpose that for marketing or bits or whatever, and I would be totally fine with that. But the one
it also is. It's also true. It does. He kind of does.
He kind of literally
jump the
does.
shuttle.
It doesn't make any physics sense, and I have so many notes about the physics of space. So many in the episode that we're gonna do next.
There's a hole.
Well, it's all. It doesn't. You can disregard physics because it's all clip art, so it's fine.
I'm excited that we all have so many strong feelings about this going in, but I hope you will also feel strongly about the title that I want to use for this show, which is very simple, but I think an important question that we need to answer, which is, why is Steve in space? And just have that be the, like, obviously we're going to find out the answer like 2 episodes from now. That's not really the important thing, but the important thing is
we don't know. What if we never find out? What if they never really explain why NASA shows up at his house?
Well, it's
or at not at his house. He's never at his house.
Right. Yeah.
Does he have a house?
This is another question.
I have a question.
Do we ever see the interior of Urkel's house? No.
So yeah, maybe they know. Maybe NASA just shows up. You know.
First of all, it's off-brand NASA, and we'll talk about that next episode because I have some feelings about that as well. But the question that we're really asking is the question that you asked earlier in the episode, David, which is like, how did we get here? Like, this is a show that's about a family, and then the final episode is about none of this family's family members, and it's about him being in fucking space.
That was one of my only other title suggestions would be, how did we get here, or just what happened.
What happened?
I would be afraid if we named our show What Happened that we would be canceled due to total lack of interest, but something to consider for sure.
Man,
Now, I understand the value of jumping the shuttle.
I know you're not gonna be happy with it though.
I know. I can let it happen because it's still a good title. I did come up with it. I still that's my beautiful baby, but it's not the one that I would make a separate Instagram account for. Like there's a shining child in my heart.
What do you think, John?
You know, I like why is Steve in space, but I feel like it implies that we might be really, and I'm sure we will be quite a bit, maybe not all the time, talking about how, Urkel took over the show. It might be
That's
leaning
true.
maybe too much into that.
I'm sure we could. But I was thinking about okay, he's in space. There was a shuttle. Okay, can we do some reverse countdown? And then I'm realizing that's just counting, and that's not a great way to boost your search engine optimization. Is just to put numbers in a row numerically.
The last episode really they could have really used it to just launch right into Space Force.
What a terrible show.
God, that show, man, such a disappointment.
It has everything going for it except for a good script.
Yeah, when they announced that show, it feels like forever ago.
Yeah.
I feel like they announced that show shortly after. I'm not even gonna say his name.
I think
took office.
I think that was the thing is that he threw out the idea as a joke, and then they immediately went and registered the trademark while Steve Carell was drunk one night. It just would be it would be fucking crazy.
But it was official though. Netflix put it out.
Yeah.
I think they put out a little logo promo pretty quickly. So I don't know. You think they'd had all this time to really hammer it out, and then what happened? My God, it's that's another podcast, but just everything is wrong with it. Misogynistic, racist, and not funny.
You can be one of the three. You can't tick all those boxes.
That's the trifecta right there that you do not want.
You're probably not gonna like hearing this, but what if we did?
We just shouldn't do this.
Let's cancel this whole thing. I think that's very clear in the premise that we should not be doing this.
Nobody's under the delusion that this is gonna be fun, right? Nobody thinks this will be enjoyable.
Well, then question corner, what the hell are we doing it for then?
People just want to hear a slow descent into madness over 4 years and 215 episodes.
Plus, we'll probably have to
Breaking
do
Bad for
bonus
that.
episodes of Die Hard and watch Perfect Strangers and holy shit.
Can I just say, now that I've seen Die Hard, best action movie I've ever seen.
Hey, Die Hard's
hands
good.
Down. It is. I don't mean that
Hot take.
facetiously. It's a great film.
Did you guys know?
And it is a Christmas movie. It is absolutely a Christmas movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
were you doing we're recording this in July 2020. Were you doing a Christmas in July thing? Did you not know, or you just were watching Die Hard for fun?
Look, I don't need a reason, It's
Yeah, man.
quarantine. I was
feel like
bored. I'd never
if
seen
you've
it.
made
It was about to go off of HBO. So I was like, I need to
Okay,
watch
that's the
this
reason.
while I still can.
Yeah. You need some reason because you've made it 30 plus years of your life without seeing Die Hard, and then you decided to watch it well outside of the season that everybody talks about Die Hard.
Just got to make a strong choice to never watch it now.
Right. There's got to be a hump at which you're just all right, I'm too far gone. I can't.
No, you're never too. It's never too late. It's never too late.
If there's one thing I learned from this podcast. Okay, so what if we did
Did you learn something from this?
Oh no, I'm getting dumber in just now. What if we did a subtitle? So we do jumping the shuttle, and then we can change the subtitle for like the seasons, or we can, as I'm sure we do, Perfect
Seasons,
Strangers.
plural.
Oh yeah, and as we get into Perfect Strangers and all the crossovers, we can keep.
This is interesting.
Yeah, so we keep because I like that the premise is that we're looking at how it got off the rails and also how Steve became like such a central figure.
Yeah. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. I mean, we'd have to do seasons of the podcast regardless, and giving them a special name is kind of fun.
We do have to do seasons?
Well, no.
We don't have to do any of this.
We shouldn't be doing any of this, period. I'm sorry that the pun that I liked less is the one that actually works.
Only other thing I think of is rewind it back, but I'm sure that is already a thing. That's all I can think of.
Let's just call
Be
it
kind, rewind. Has anybody called anything that before?
I really don't appreciate when you step on my joke.
Oh,
faster.
shit. Well, then let's officially unveil here episode 1 of Jumping the Shuttle, which covers absolutely no episode of Family Matters or any other show. But we did talk about Cousin Skeeter, so that's basically the same thing. I will drop show socials in here at some point. But
it's all about TikTok now, by the way.
What's your TikTok, Abby?
What's your tic-tac-toe?
On the who are you on the interwebs? How can
goodness.
people find you, John, if you want them to?
We talking well, TikTok is not a real thing, so
Well, I don't care.
That's a trick question.
What
Nobody
you're
will
promoting.
be able to find me that way.
You can tell them to go to your IMDb page for all I care. You just tell me what you want to promote.
You can find me on Instagram, John D. McDaniel, if you want to check out what I'm up to. Right now, it's a lot of nothing because pandemic. But
I've heard. And Deacon A, where can people find you on the internet?
Ooh, this is rough because I am definitely.
You don't have to be found if you don't want people to look for you.
Yeah, let's keep the mystery alive. I just don't use it. I guess Instagram stories are really. I have a lot of like dead dad content on Instagram that you can go find.
That's
is
good.
really fun.
We should have.
Spoiler alert.
We should. All right, so we're gonna do.
Sorry.
We're gonna do a new bit, Dad Insights from David, and every episode you tell us how Mr. Winslow made you feel that episode.
He's gonna be my surrogate father now. Yeah. I guess Twitter and Instagram. I've probably tweeted once in 2 years. It's at.
You better follow you now before they all get banned from America. So.
Thank you, Senator McDaniel.
But it's at DAK577 for pretty much everything.
And I'm Alex, and I'm at that Alex D on everything. THATALEXD. Find me, and I'm sorry for when you do, and I'm sorry for all of this, and I'm sorry that we will see you next time on Jumping the Shuttle to talk about episode 215, season 9, episode 22, Lost in Space Part 2. It is going to be a fuck of an episode, y'all.
Wild.
I'm not ready.
Let's just get into it now.
No. I'm kidding. I'm hitting stop.